This video is going to review the formative assessment from yesterday about reflection and angle of incidence and angle of reflection. So we know from yesterday we learned that angle of incidence equals angle of reflection. Now the formative assessment was asking you to explain why the placement of these mirrors would not make a light ray go from the start to the end. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to draw a line with a ruler. You need to use a ruler or this isn't going to work. So you're going to draw a line from the start to the first mirror. Then what you need to do, and this is really important, is you need to draw the normal. So the normal needs to connect to the ray, go from the ray to the mirror, and it has to be 90 degrees or perpendicular from the mirror. So I'm going to draw mine, and then I'm just going to double check that that's perpendicular. If it's not perpendicular, your angles are going to be, when you measure your angles, it's going to be incorrect, and you won't be able to accurately do this task. So that's 90 degrees. What I'm going to do then is measure the angle of incidence here, so from the normal to the incident ray, and I'm going to draw my arrow on my incident ray so I know that's an incident ray and not a reflected ray. So you're going to measure it by putting your protractor along the mirror and the 90-degree angle, and then I'm going to measure this. So I'm going to count 10, 20, 30, 45. So it's at 45 degrees. I'll write that there. 45 degrees. So now I know angle of incidence, because I know angle of incidence equals angle of reflection. I know that the angle that this beam's coming out has to be 45 degrees. So I'm going to measure a 45-degree angle. 10, 20, 30, 45, and I'm just going to extend it out, make a mark so I know where I have to line up my ruler. So meet up with that perpendicular, the normal, and I'm going to extend my line to the next mirror. Now if you're not using a ruler, what's going to happen is you may measure the angles correctly, but your placement on the mirrors will not be correct. So then you'll end up having a wonky answer. So again, I need to make my 90-degree normal. And you always want to measure that just to make sure you're on the right angle, because if you're not, again, you will not have correct placement of your, there we go, correct placement. So I'm going to measure the angle again, angle of incidence, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, so it's 40 this time. 10, 20, 30, 40. Extend that up there so I know where I have to, oh, I did something wrong here. So there we go. So that's where my ray would end up going. So just writing in 40 to 45 degrees, 40 degrees. So if the mirror placement of here would be incorrect because it would end up here. Now I think I did something wrong here. So because it should meet there, and this should be the mirror that's the messed up one. The angle of that mirror should be the messed up one. So if you're finding that, you need to go back and re-measure and just see. Again, if you're not accurate, this is what's going to happen. It shouldn't work in this case. We know that it shouldn't work because I told you that. But where it doesn't work is the important part as well. So if you're showing me that you can understand 45 degrees and you're showing me that you're measuring 45, 45, and you're measuring the angle of incidence, the angle of a reflection, and you've done it correctly, and you've shown me that it's not going to work, then it's still okay. You're still fully meeting, but you have to make sure that you're able to do it so that it's correct. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to go try it again and then restart.